Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Grady Lukele and I am a rally, driving and motorsport enthusiast, and today I'll be helping you with some of my tips and tricks which help me improve on sim racing. Let's go. Okay, so before we get started, I thought I'd mention some of the games that I play. I mainly dabble in rally. That's what I really love and that's what I'm passionate about. And I usually play EA Sports WRC or Dirt Rally 2.0. So today we have the EA Sports WRC, which I'll be using to help you understand some techniques and tips that can help you improve on your sim racing. And I've got my trusty little foot cam over here to get us started. All right, let's go. Okay, so I think the best place for us to start is with the setup. Currently, I'm using the Logitech G920 wheel and pedals and the Logitech driving force shifter, which is here on my left. And it's all hooked up to a Xbox Series X, which I have underneath my table over here. So I think it's a great beginner wheel to start with. Like, it's super durable, calibrates very easily, and I've just had a great time learning on it as well. So if you're looking for a moderately priced wheel, I think the G920 would be perfect for you just to get started, and then from there you can level up. My PlayStation users, you can get the G29. That one is the one that's compatible with the PlayStation, and Xbox has another option of the G923 alongside the G920, which is also really good. So yeah, everything is on my table. I've attached everything to my table. It hooks on pretty solid, doesn't move around that much, so you just have to make sure everything is securely screwed in. Okay, so my wheel and pedals are actually against the wall to stop them from sliding around. As you can see, they're all the way at the end against the wall. I've just made sure to keep the wire out to make sure the wires don't get squashed up there. And I've also put them on carpet and old pet blankets to make sure that they don't slide around. But the G920 has the little hooks at the bottom that you can also extract, and it hooks nicely to the carpet as well. But I do recommend maybe placing it against a wall or something. It just makes it so much easier to make sure that your pedals don't slide around, because you will be dancing around those pedals a lot. Also, for a handbrake, I've heard that you can get some pretty cheap handbrakes on eBay and Amazon. Logitech doesn't make handbrakes, unfortunately, so I've bound mine to my right pedal shift over here, and it's worked pretty well. I didn't come up with that, guys. I saw it on someone else's YouTube video where he bound his handbrake to the pedal, and I thought, you know, that's actually really clever. So yeah, I thought that was pretty clever. You can get the handbrake on eBay and Amazon. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to get one because I'm hoping to upgrade my sets, so I will see from there what happens, what I decide. And yeah, for console, I use the Xbox Series X. I actually started with the Xbox One S and then I upgraded to the Xbox Series X, and it's been a great console. The upgrade has been incredible. And dining room seat, guys, that's what I use. I just stole my parents' dining room seat and that's what I use as a chair. Like I said, I'm hoping to upgrade my set, so hopefully we'll see something new in the future. Okay, so now let's get into some actual driving, where I'll give you some of my personal tips and tricks to help you improve on your sim racing. Okay, I'm also going to show you a few of the settings that you can set up on your Xbox or your PlayStation, whatever console, PS, PC that you're using. And it's mainly to do with preferences and assists. Don't be afraid to have all your assists on. These are currently my assists. I have the manual H pattern, so I think as a beginner you can definitely try the automatic. As you progress, you can go to semi-automatic, and then from there you can either do sequential if you have one, or like me, the manual with H pattern. When we move on to the OSD, I think it is very important to start with the co-driver calls on. Mine are off at the moment because they do get a little bit distracting, but when you're starting off learning your co-driver calls, it's very important to see the angle of the corner as well. So if you want them on, you can definitely leave them on. I think it's a very good idea to have them on, and as you progress you can turn them off. Moving on to game preferences, I think these are some tips that could really help as well. when you just start sim racing, I think when it comes to your co-driver call timing, I started mine at latest so that I could understand the corner that I was in already and know which angle it was going into, because I wasn't able to necessarily picture the road how most people do now when they get more advanced in sim racing. So I just wasn't too familiar with the cornering as well, the angle of the corner. So I think maybe later or latest would be the best place to start, just so you can understand the corner that you're in. If it says a left 3 and you can see what a left 3 looks like, because the call is a little bit later. So I think that would really help. And then as you get faster, you will definitely need to make your co-driver calls a little bit earlier. All right, and when it comes to the co-driver call type, you have the normal and you have the simplified calls. The normal ones are more similar to the rally. They're very technical. They have a lot of details about the terrain, the corners, and what to expect. And the simplified ones are just more easier to follow. So I think it would be easier to start in simplified. I wish I had that option earlier as well, because I just started with the normal. But I also was a little bit familiar with pace notes before I did start sim racing, so I had a general idea. So simplified pace notes are a great place to start. From there you can move up. You can have normal with more technical instructions and calls that the co-driver will call for you. So yeah, I think that's a great place to start. And of course, choose your units, either metric or imperial, whichever you are using. Also, when it comes to your assists, don't be afraid to use them all. My assists are still relatively on. It's just changed the transmission and the clutch control. But when it comes to ABS, off throttle braking, all that is set to default. Traction control and stability control, this is also default. And automatic wipers and start line assist is on. I will turn it off eventually because I want to be able to control when I start off at the starting line, but I did need a little bit of help. This is what has helped me to get to the level which I am at now. Oh yes, okay, and also when it comes to your difficulty, my difficulty right now is set at 50. That's where my AI performance is. And hardcore damage, when it comes to just starting out in sim racing, I think you should turn it off because it does mess up the way the car handles, like if you roll or if you have a flat. So definitely turn it off when you're starting out, and then as you proceed you can definitely turn it on to make it a little bit more realistic. Okay, now let's get driving. Okay, so my first piece of advice when you're getting into sim racing, I know it can be pretty scary, you know, there's so much information out there as well, but I think the most important thing is to do what you're comfortable with and start slow. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. I also made a lot of mistakes at the beginning, so that's just how we learn. So just take it easy, be patient with yourself, and give yourself some grace as well, because it is going to be a journey adjusting maybe from normal driving to sim racing or sim racing to normal driving. I guess it can always be quite different. So to start off, I'm going to show you what I did when I started sim racing in EA Sports WRC. Basically, the first tip that I can give you is traction is your friend. So I recommend starting out maybe in Croatia. That's where I did most of my learning. For sim racing, I was in Croatia a lot because the traction is tarmac, so it's very, very easy to keep the car steady and to keep the car on the road the whole time. So I think Croatia is a very, very great place to start. In Dirt Rally 2.0, there's also Spain. You can start in Spain. I really love the traction and you can drive easily, get a feel for the car, and it's very, very easy to learn how to understand the car. Okay, so you'll notice that you have the shakedowns as well. Usually you get free tires also once you do the shakedown before stage, so that's a great place to start. Don't be afraid to start over and over and over. It also helps you understand the co-driver calls, so definitely do the shakedowns. You can do them repetitively and just get a basic familiarization and understanding of the road. Oh yes, and the reason why I love the EA Sports WRC so much is because they've added the feature of the rally school, where you can learn all different types of driving techniques and learn how to become a much better sim racer in rally, and hopefully I think it can also translate into a lot of different driving as well. So I think that's a really good feature. You can choose between asphalt or snow or gravel, so many different features, and at the end you have the time test. I think it is brilliant. I wish I had that when I started sim racing as well, but I still use it. It helped me with my handbrake turns and so much more to learn as well. So definitely something you should check out. Okay, so let's get into some driving. Before we drive, I'm going to make sure I put my preferences at the beginner level, which I recommended, so you can also see like how they sound. So I've set it to latest, my co-driver call timing, and also my co-driver type has become simplified. And then also when it comes to difficulty, I'm going to put my hardcore damage off so that we can have a fairly simple drive. And I also want to put my transmission in automatic, just so that you can see how everything works together. So let me put it in automatic. Clutch control is automatic. Okay, let's do this. So let's start with the shakedown, and you'll see how the co-driver is going to call out the instructions also in his calls, and also get a feel of how the timing is when it comes to the calls. So let me turn on my foot cam, and then yeah, we can get racing. Okay, so let's start with the shakedown. I have muted it because of copyright, but I can unmute it now. So this is how the game will look with all the assist on.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. Slight left. Easy right, don't cut. Medium left. Medium right. Easy left, slowing. Slight right, don't cut. Hard left, don't cut. Easy left, don't cut. Slight right, slowing. Open end and right. Easy left, small cut. Slight left. Finish.
Okay, so to sum things up from driving, the best thing to do is start in Croatia or in Spain in Dirt Rally 2.0, somewhere where there's a lot of traction, so you can get a feel of the car. Make sure your co-driver calls are simplified to be able to understand the road and his call, and the settings should also be, the timing should also be at latest or later, whichever you prefer, whichever can help you get into the rhythm of sim racing. Okay, so now let's get into the co-driver calls. Okay, so the numbers 1 to 6, those correspond with the angle of the corner. So numbers 1 and 2 are pretty tight, 3 and 4 are almost 45-degree angles, and then 5 and 6 are relatively straight. So the lower the number, the tighter the corner, and the higher the number, the straighter it gets. So it gradually gets straighter from 1 to 6. So numbers 1 and 2 are relatively tight corners, not necessarily a hairpin, which I'll get into, but they can be very similar to a hairpin. So 1 and 2 are relatively tight, slow corners. So whenever you hear 1 and 2, you know that you have to slow down and prepare for a relatively tight corner. Numbers 3 and 4, those corners are almost at like a 45-degree angle, I'd say. 90-degree angles like this, that would be a square left or square right. So I'd say this is maybe a 45-degree angle. So a 3 would be 45, and then a 4 kind of goes out a little bit more, but it's medium speed corners. 5 and a 6, those are fast corners, relatively straight. 5 is a little bit tighter than a 6, so that is a 5 and a 6. And then you'll also get something called a flat. A flat is completely straight, so you can press it and send it. It's fine. So with the numbers, he will tell you whether it's a left or a right. So you'll have maybe a 6 left, sometimes you'll have a left 6. It depends on the game. So as you go along, you'll get to understand that if he says a left 6, you'll understand that it's going to the left, a corner, which is relatively fast, going to the left. Or if it's a right 1 or 1 right, then it's a super tight corner going to the right. Other co-driver calls that your navigator may call out are numbers such as 100, 80, 200, and also into. So I'll start with the numbers. So basically the numbers are the distances in meters. So let's say you have a left 6, 180. It means it's going to be a left 6, a relatively fast corner for 180 meters. So that would be the numbering. I'm sure if you change it to imperial, it may be different. From there, you have other instructions such as into. Into means basically corner after corner after corner. So he'll say maybe a left 6 into a 3 right, which means it's going to be a left 6, a relatively fast corner, going into a 3 right, which is going to be tighter. So into means from the corner you've just taken into another corner. So it's corner after corner, right after each other. Then there are also some other instructions such as driving instructions that he'll give you, like keep left, keep right, keep middle. He'll say don't cut, my favorite one. I always cut when he says don't cut for some reason. So that one basically means don't cut the corner. So you have to go all the way around the corners, because sometimes in rally you can cut the corners. He will tell you sometimes if you can cut, big cut, I believe it is large cut, big cut, I believe it's somewhere there. He will tell you how much you can cut the corner, if you can cut. And he'll also tell you keep left, keep right, keep middle. Basically those are just driving instructions where to stay on the road. He'll also say brake or slow if you're maybe approaching something which may need you to slow down a little bit more. So those are some driving instructions that he can also give you. And then there is caution. Double caution, triple caution. We've all heard it from Samir, you're breaking the car. Basically that is warning you of a hazard. Let's say there's a normal narrow bridge approaching. So he may say double caution, so you can slow down and be cautious of the bridge that you're approaching because it can narrow. Or he'll say triple caution, maybe there's like a hill or a corner that goes over a hill that may be a really bad tumble down the side of the road. So you really never know what to expect. But caution, double caution, triple caution just tells you the level of severity of what you are approaching on the road. So that is what caution means. Then there are crests. Crests are basically something with low visibility, like a hill, something you won't be able to see over. So if he says crests, that's when you know that you won't be able to see over the hill or little bump that you're approaching. So that is what a crest is. He'll usually say bumps over crest or left 6 over crest. So after the little hill, there's going to be a left 3 or left 6. And then what else is there? Oh, hairpins. Okay, hairpins. I always forget about hairpins for some reason. Hairpins are basically a full 180 turn. That's where when you progress you'll have to start using the handbrake. That's where I struggle. You guys have seen me and my handbrake. So yeah, basically it's a full 180. And you have open hairpins, which is a full 180, but it kind of like opens out so that you're able to like drive a little bit quicker through it. And then you have an acute hairpin, which is a tight hairpin, the ones that really tighten out as you go around them. I believe I've found a lot of acute hairpins in Argentina on Dirt Rally 2.0 because Argentina is rough. Sometimes your co-driver will also tell you about the scenery. Sometimes he'll say through houses, through wood. He'll tell you there's a bridge, cobbles, and there's also like off-camber type of roads which might need you to adjust your driving a little bit as well. So that is also what you can hear when the co-driver gives you some calls. So I believe those are the general co-driver calls that your navigator will call out as you are driving. So I hope that has helped you get a better understanding of what the instructions and the calls are that he will give to you. So yeah, if I've missed anything, guys, please don't be afraid to put it in the comments. Any other additional information that you may have about co-driver calls, that is the general ones that I remember now and that I wrote down off the top of my head. Yeah, I believe that is everything. So we've come to the end of the video, guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope I was able to explain a little bit about the things that helped me adjust to sim racing, and I hope that it will be a nice, smooth, easy adjustment for you guys as well. Please don't hesitate to comment and ask any more questions. I am always here to help. Absolutely love to help if anyone is struggling with anything. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe. That's everything. Yeah, so thanks, guys. Bye.